Welcome everyone to the 8th session of our Growing Opportunities in Canadian Agriculture webinar series, where we will be chatting with a diverse group of individuals from the agriculture sector. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Rebecca and Phyllis from CAHRC. So I'll hand things over to you two, and you guys can give an introduction about yourselves and what you do here at CAHRC.
Great. Do you want me to go first, Phyllis? Awesome. So welcome everyone. My name is Rebecca Balsdon and I'm the Stakeholder Engagement Specialist here at the Canadian Agriculture Human Resource Council. And today I guess we're chatting a little bit about having a specific career in agriculture on the association side or organizational side industry, as well as having a farm ourselves. So I'll talk a little bit about my farm. So we have a 60-head dairy farm in Western Quebec, as well as I work here at CAHRC. So Phyllis?
Yeah, welcome everyone. My name is Phyllis MacCallum. I am Senior Program Manager of Research and Knowledge Mobilization. So my team leads our labor market information work, as well as the National Workforce Strategic Plan. And a little bit about me and my operation. We have a purebred Hereford operation just west of Ottawa, and we also run a livestock hauling company across Canada.
Great, thank you very much. And how did you both come to build your careers in agriculture?
So I would say I have more of the non-traditional avenue into agriculture. So I grew up with both my parents in the Canadian Air Forces. So mostly my upbringing was going from base to base across Canada. Most of my upbringing was in Nova Scotia, and we were stationed in a more rural area, and I just fell in love with agriculture. So I decided to pursue that as post-secondary. Went to University of Guelph Kempsville campus, and that's where I met my husband. I was actually training to work with horses and such, and hoping to have my own facility one day. And then I met my husband, and he showed me dairy farming, and I fell in love with it. So I fell in love with him, fell in love with dairy farming. We now have 3 daughters, and we're definitely progressing the farm. We took over the farm in December, and so we are sole owners, and we're putting in robotic milking system in the next few weeks, so we're really excited about that. But then now that my girls are in school, I thought I would maybe try to help out a little bit more from that organizational side or from the industry. And so I started looking for positions, and I found CAHRC, and I thought, what an amazing way to help agriculture and have the perspective of being a farmer here on staff as well. So I've come on in June, and I really do love it. I get to speak to associations across Canada, promote our programs, and also help farmers in the end. Go ahead.
Cool. So I was born and raised in agriculture. I grew up on a commercial cow-calf operation. So my dad was raising beef cattle for meat production. And so we had a small herd, kind of in the scheme of things in today's business. But my passion for horses also was a strong one, and then my passion for livestock as I was involved on the farm. Rebecca and I crossed paths quite a few years ago at Kempsville College, and so we attended school together. And I was studying the equine diploma as well. I went on after to the University of Lethbridge and completed a bachelor's in ag studies and economics, kind of with the hope of being involved in the beef industry as I, went to find a career. That was sort of what my idea was while I was in post-secondary, because of my background in the beef industry. I really did have a love and passion for that as well, and understanding the market dynamics and how I could play a role in that. And upon graduation, I secured a job in credit analysis. So I was lending farmers money for ag businesses, and so helping build barns, helping start operations, purchase tractors, all that kind of work. I did that for a little bit, and then found my way to the hog industry. And so beef and pork do have their differences, but in the way of market dynamics, there are quite a few similarities. So I was able to use my economics background in a different commodity, which was really cool to see that changeover in my skill set. And then I moved to CAHRC, and so I've been with CAHRC now for about 2.5 years, and so through that, I've been able to then use another set of skills in the labor market space. Again, understanding the dynamics of the industry, how different commodities function, and how the market is for labor. But I still get the opportunity to farm in my personal time. We have started an operation now, and so my partner and I are out on our own, starting our own operation, and we have diversified a little bit. We started in the lamb, sheep, and goat business, which was fun for some time, but we realized it wasn't for us. And then again, found our way back to the beef industry. And so we're really excited about the opportunities of being in purebred beef production, and what the future might hold for us there.
That's awesome. Thank you both. And what does your day-to-day look like?
My day-to-day.
Yeah,
I was
working with chickens.
I kind of get the flack a little bit because I start my day very early compared to most. So I'm usually up about 4:30 a.m. and I'll help a little bit at the farm. Mostly on the weekends. I'm full-time on the farm because there's milking. So milking, I have to go ahead. And then I log into CAHRC and we're fully remote, which is really helpful living in a rural area to be able to have that flexibility. Especially that's one of the main reasons that brought me towards CAHRC. And then from there, I work until it's milking time at night. So I milk every single night during the week as well.
Yeah, so for the most part, beef are a little bit less hands-on than Rebecca's dairy operation, but we are in the middle of calving season right now. So I get up usually between 6 and 7. Our cattle don't live on the same property that we do, so we have a set of cameras set up to check on them. So I do a quick check to see if anything's happening. If we do have a cow close to calving, I take an early run over to the farm and make sure that everything is okay. But for the most part, our herd is fairly self-sufficient, and my partner is responsible for the feeding of them. And so then, a typical day for work for me is managing a lot of the projects that we work on here at CAHRC. I have a number of working groups, which are industry experts who come around the table and provide insight and input into program design and policy decisions that we try to bring forward to lawmakers. And so a lot of my work is, again, talking to industry, being involved in all aspects of what they do, understanding where the concerns are, and then taking that information and trying to bring forward solutions, both short term if the situation is imminent and needs a quick fix, or long term solutions for the industry to change and bring new dynamic to it as we build a workforce.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
didn't really explain what I did during the day. So I work here, my job is to talk to people all day. So I'm in and out of virtual meetings every single day. And then sometimes I'm at events. So I'm technically part of the marketing department. So what I do is just put out the information to associations as well as down to farmer level students. Pretty much anything you need to know about CAHRC is kind of run through me in a sense. Sorry, Megan.
No, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, and obviously you guys both have a history in agriculture before CAHRC. So are there any particular things that you've learned about the agriculture sector since being with CAHRC? Are there any new things?
Oh gosh, yeah. Agriculture is always so exciting. It's always evolving and changing. We can really see that with the adoption of a lot more technology. moving forward. I know I had mentioned earlier, but we are putting an automated milking system in. So then that means physically I don't have to be at the farm to milk morning and night. The animals are going to choose when they can be milked. They can choose when they need to be fed and such. So it's definitely a different dynamic. For me, I hadn't really known a lot about the association and industry side of agriculture. So once I was fully immersed in CAHRC, I realized that there is so much more going on that side, and that not a lot of people, or Canadians, don't really know what agriculture is. We always kind of look at it, that farmer with plaid sitting in the middle of the field working his butt. But there is so much more to agriculture than that, where we do need bodies in careers. We need people to ensure that automation and technology goes ahead, and that we're able to make the lives of farmers easier, as well as ensuring that we have sustainable food going forward in Canadian food. But I mean, there's so much more I could talk about. I could probably take up this entire half hour, but I'll let Phyllis kind of comment a little bit more on that.
Yeah, so the interesting part for me, I had mentioned that my background was in beef. I spent 5 years in the hog industry, understanding how the dynamics of the hog industry worked at all kind of levels and aspects of it. And then when I was in the hog industry, labor was a file. We call them files, an issue that was sort of at arm's reach for me. It wasn't something that at the national level we really focused on, because there were so many other big topics that kind of took priority. So when I moved over to CAHRC and labor became the issue at hand, I got the opportunity to see labor specifically across all sectors, across the entire country, at all levels of, farming, of industry, of corporate. We do some work in the food and beverage manufacturing area. So then you got to see the processing side of things, and that's a whole new dynamic. So there's still commodities that I don't know a whole lot about, but I've learned a little bit about their labor issues and where they stand there. But in the way of their production, in the way of what the challenges are, outside of their labor file, it really is still a very much a learning opportunity. And so I go to meetings all the time to make presentations specifically for the work that I do, but I sit in on the presentation because I learned so much about the industry while I'm there at that function. And so there's always tons to learn. I mean, I'm still learning about the beef industry that what I literally was born into. And if something happens on the farm or we have a difficult calving, um, I call the vet because they're the expert, and I need their opinion. I don't know it all. Sometimes I might have a solution, but I don't know if it's the best one. And so it really is about having the opportunity to learn new things all the time, taking the skills you have and implementing them in different situations. I have, new producers who I know who call me and ask me about, what do you think your opinion on this would be? And I'm like, well, try these things. If they don't work, might have to call the vet, like I'm sort of out of options after that. So, it's really about building that network and getting that information around you. And like the group in agriculture is so small. The percentage of people who feed the world is so small, but the network is so huge, and there's so much opportunity to learn from one another, which I think is really cool, both in professional and personal lives.
Yeah, totally. I couldn't agree more. That's great. And do you guys have any advice that you would like to give to students who are trying to find their way into the agriculture workforce?
Last question. Any opportunity that comes your way, grab it with both hands and just try it. I know, like, for instance, I didn't grow up in agriculture. I didn't grow up with a farm, but I own a farm. And my husband and I both own it, but half of it is mine. And I do love it. And I do love those animals. And every time I'm in the barn, I know that what I'm working towards is having very good quality not very good, but amazing quality. We have the best quality of milk in the world. And because we have such high standards, and so just ensuring that you do try and check out what agriculture has to offer. If you're in farming already, or if your family's already in farming, join some of the associations, get yourself on a board, learn what's happening behind the scenes. You'll have a different perspective as a producer coming into it. And if you're not a producer, join them anyways, because you'll have a different perspective as well, bringing to that table.
Yeah, I think for students in post-secondary, take the opportunities for work integrated learning or co-op positions. If you already have a sense of agriculture, do diversify your skills. And so even when I was in university, I did co-op. I did 5 terms of co-op. 3 of my terms had nothing to do with agriculture. They were in the tech field. And so that allowed me to showcase something different about my skill set. It allowed me to gain skills that I didn't have before. I was managing um, a user engagement division that was global. And so, I was probably 22, 23 years old, still in school, and managing this big group of people who, were getting paid very well as employees of the company. But they were, my testers internally. And so that allowed me to showcase that I could manage people, that I could keep on track with things, and then progress through university into a career path. The piece that's really important about work integrated learning and co-op opportunities is that it's a really important ability today. Many employers are looking for that distinction. I know coming out of university for myself, when we were hired, the other analysts that were hired with me, I quickly realized that we had all achieved a co-op distinction. And so that was something that was embedded in the company that we were hired to, that they were looking for. They wanted new graduates who could work right off the get-go, in May. And so do take those opportunities if you have them. Um, take all the opportunities as they come, honestly. Like Rebecca said, if someone is looking for researchers or analysts, while you're in university, do try to take those. It just provides you with another level of understanding of the industry, and ask the questions. Don't be afraid to step up and ask how things are going, and why things are done a certain way. Some things are just done that way because they always have been, but that doesn't mean they always have to be. And so we do need new thoughts and new dynamic thinkers in the industry, and do question sometimes what is going on. And it understand that when you and if and when you do enter the sector, the sky is really the limit. You can take a skill set, build on that, move it laterally. You can go just about anywhere. And for us in industry associations, we see so much movement between the industry associations. Someone will decide to move into another commodity, they'll move into another area. They may move from a national to a provincial association, or vice versa. And so it's all the same skills, but you're diversifying that network, you're diversifying what your responsibilities are, and potentially moving up the ladder. So it's there's a ton of opportunity in agriculture. You don't require an ag degree to be part of it. Many people are here to help you learn about ag. So if you have those skills, we just, I love to teach people about agriculture. The more questions you ask me about ag, the better I like it. I'd love to, tell people about my experiences and what I do know about, and then find someone who has the answers for the ones I don't have. Because that's all about, sharing and contributing to the whole conversation. So there's, again, like Rebecca said, we could talk about this for hours. We are so passionate about what we do, both on and off the farm, and just really excited about the opportunities for the next set of generations that come into the sector, because we get to experience it daily.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really like the point about work integrated learning. Obviously, co-ops are so important and agriculture is so diverse. There's so many opportunities that are open for students to take right now. And just exploring the different opportunities that are there is it's great. Many schools have career fairs. There's a lot of agriculture employers there. Farm shows are awesome. You may see CAHRC there. So yeah, that's great. Thank you guys. And I'll open the floor to anyone who may have some questions. And yeah, but that was great. I think you guys covered everything. I was trying to think of something I could add there, but you left me with nothing.
The passion is definitely there.
Yeah, yeah,
As Phyllis
absolutely.
said. Yeah, no, for sure. And you have to be passionate when you work in agriculture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, you know, everyone in the industry is so passionate about it because it's very it's if not the most important industry in Canada, I'd say, you know.
Yeah, it does have a very unique culture in that there's room for everyone. It's very inclusive and maybe sometimes doesn't always get that maybe that perception of it. But yeah, there's room for everybody and there's room for all professionals. So we need engineers, we need data analysts, we need vets, we need all of these different people. And it's not specific ag, like Phyllis had said, doesn't mean that you specifically have an ag degree or diploma in something. There's definitely space coming from that STEM sort of background.
Mm-hmm.
And just the ability to contribute, you know, to the larger scale. You know, you if you work on a farm or own a farm or you're part of a small agribusiness, your contribution is much larger than that. You know, you're helping a producer, you know, plant his crops or harvest, and you know, they're going off to a production facility that may or and may not be staying in Canada. You know, there could be an export opportunity there to another country. And so the opportunity to contribute to Canada's ag sector and then to the global food sector, depending on what industry you're in, is absolutely huge. And so I talk a lot about, you know, you being on farm and sort of being in your own little world, doing your own thing, but the contribution is much larger than that. And I think sometimes we forget about that, you know, when we're you know, trying to work through a problem or focused on, you know, the daily tasks of running a farm and keeping livestock or keeping production moving. And the challenges we experience with labor are that if, you know, we don't have enough people in the sector, production doesn't happen. You know, farms close, operations close, and that has long-term effects to the industry, both here domestically at home in Canada and both and also abroad to the countries that we ship to. So there's a much larger conversation to have, especially for agriculture, in how your work contributes to the larger picture.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll plug Phyllis's work that she's doing on her department as well when it comes to the labor market information and research. Is look at that and see that we're definitely above average when it comes to that vacancy rate when you look across Canada. So you can look at that as like there's not enough people filling jobs, but you can also look at that as a huge opportunity, especially coming out of university, that there are way more jobs available in agriculture for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The sky is definitely the limit if you want to be part of the industry. And
Mm-hmm.
if you are willing to learn and be open-minded and take your turn at a career development opportunity, it really, it's just so exciting. It is. There's so much opportunity. Um, if you're really passionate about one area, if you're really passionate about tech, the tech is huge, just huge. And then if you find kind of a niche of where you want to be, that could be, you know, endless as well. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Don't feel
oh,
shy.
sorry.
Ask questions.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can you guys share your LinkedIn's, like if they want to connect with you? And yeah, that'd be great. Perfect.
Also, we've started to build out a community of practice through CAHRC. So it's called CAHRC Connect, and I can also put that information in the chat as well if you want to be connected. I know there's a lot about HR learning in there specifically to agriculture, but it's also building that network and having that network virtually. So I'll put the links for that in the Q&A as well.
Awesome. Perfect. All right, I'll let you guys drop that in, and thank you so much. That was very informative, and your outlook on agriculture is great, and it's really great hearing your stories and how you got into CAHRC and you know, your busy lives, but you're both passionate about it, which is great. And yeah, oh, there's the LinkedIn. So if you guys want to grab those, that's awesome.
And then there's the link for the community practice.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. And our last 2 sessions are next week. So we hope to see you there. And yeah, everyone have a great day.